This is the Handyman Toolbox, exploring DIY home improvement outside the box.
Okay, so now we're going to be talking about 10 common mistakes homeowners make when hiring home service pros. Now, my promise to you in this presentation is to empower you with 3 secrets that I teach homeowners in hiring home service pros. Number 1 is commanding common courtesy. Number 2 is never accept verbal agreements. And finally, number 3, never pay for services or materials in advance. All right, so I could hear it already. Oh, yeah, but yeah. Okay, hold on. We're going to get to that real quick. So I don't know if you've ever heard this statement before. It comes out of the scriptures. It says, my people perish from lack of knowledge. Now, even though that was said thousands of years ago, this is still a very common occurrence, and it's still true, and it's more common than you think. So let me tell you a story. I started my handyman business in 1998, and I went door to door my very first day. First day, I knocked on the door and I said, hello, man, this is who I am. This is what I do. Here's my brochure. If you ever need anything, give me a call. She said, okay. So I went off to the next house next door. And I thought, well, that was great. You know, warm and fuzzies here. But the problem is I need to make money, right? Okay. So I got to change something. So I changed one thing. I went to the next door, knocked on the door, and I said, hello, man, this is who I am. This is what I do. While I'm here, what would you like for me to look at? Well, she looked at my flyer and she says, oh, you do gutters? I said, yes, ma'am, I do. She said, well, come on in. So I followed her straight through. She led me through her living room, her kitchen, down the hallway to the back door. We stepped out on the patio there and looked at her gutters. I got the job, but what hit me was I'm a total stranger. I came up out of the blue and knocked on her door, gave her my sales pitch, and she said, come on in. Well, that really upset me. It really struck a fear for that lady's safety. Now, guys, understand, I'm married. I have 5 grown adult daughters. I have 3 sisters. I have a mom. And there's a lot of women in my life. I immediately thought about them. After that job, I went home and kind of lectured my wife, says, if that ever happens, never let a stranger in your house. And I told her my story, and it's like, oh my gosh, what would have happened if I was a bad guy? I'm not, but what would happen if I was a bad guy and came into that lady's house? Yeah, so it would not have gone well for that lady. And I really feared for her and her safety and all the women in my life. Well, as a handyman business owner here in Atlanta, Georgia, I'm always working in women's homes and sometimes alone, and so are my men. And so I have to present things a certain way. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. So let me tell you a little bit more about who I am. And let me move this out of the way and go from there. My name again is Rick Patterson, and I own a very popular YouTube channel we're going to talk about here in a second called The Handyman Toolbox on YouTube. So I've worked over 45 years in the home improvement industry. I graduated from the U.S. Air Force School of Carpentry. I was sergeant in charge of 1.8 million square feet of roofing. I'm also, as I mentioned earlier, I'm the CEO of Pretty Handy Guys here in Atlanta, Georgia for the last 23 years. And within 7 years of my handyman business startup, I became the leading handyman company here in the state of Georgia. As mentioned earlier, also, I'm a host of a very popular home improvement DIY channel with over 12 million views called The Handyman Toolbox. And then I'm currently a TV producer of Roku TV channel network called the Home Service Pros Network. So I feel that perhaps I might have a little bit of experience and authority to speak on the subjects that I'm talking about today. So let's go right off with this. The top 3 homeowner complaints of home service pros. Now, home service pros, that includes anybody and everybody who touches your house. Emma and Natalie are home service pros, as well as the lawn people, the plumber, electrician, the carpet people. Anybody who touches your house is considered a home service pro. So here's the number 1. Number 3, okay? People, these guys are late. They set an appointment with you. They just kind of show up whenever they want to and without any obligation or any notification. And especially number 2 is they don't call to say, hey, Miss Smith, I am stuck in traffic, or I had a flat tire, or I've been feeling sick this morning and I feel better. I want to go ahead. I'm a little late. Would it be okay to come now? And number 3 is no show. That's the number 1 complaint, that you call someone, a home service pro, and they make the appointment with you. You may take off time from work, or even if you're working from home nowadays, you take that time off, you clean your house up a little bit, get ready to have company in your home, and they don't even show up. They don't call, and especially if they're late. So let me tell you a story here. I service here in Atlanta. I've been here for about 23 years. And one day I had a lady call me. She set up the appointment and I said, okay, I'll meet you there at this certain time. I made sure that I was going to be there late. Now, guys, being a part of the former military, being a veteran, that's just one thing they drilled into you, is you're never, never, ever late. If you show up 10 minutes early, you're still late. Okay. So that way it kept the machine going very, very strong and well oiled. So I was trained never to be late. So I showed up at least 20 minutes early. And so I didn't want to, just sit there. So I went ahead and got out of the vehicle, rang her doorbell, and she opened the door and I said, hi, I'm Rick. And she goes, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And she turns and looked back in the house and says, she yells into the house, he's here, he's here, he's here. And I'm thinking, okay, I think I got pumped. Where's the cameras? What's going on here? I said, so what's up? She said, Rick, I called 13 handymen and you're the only one who showed up. All right. She celebrated that. Well, guys, did I get the job? Yes. Did I get what I wanted to get paid for the job? Yes. Did she buy me lunch and dinner since I worked there all day and finished the job? Yes. Okay. So I'm telling you that if you just show up, of anybody that is a home service pro, if you just show up, that's 50% of the work. It's just showing up on time, showing up, being present. Okay. So why do I say this? I understand the psychology, being a homeowner myself and having people come here to work on my property and around my property. I understand it because I've worked in the industry for 45 years and I've been a business owner for 23. I understand this is all I do, is work with home owners. Okay. So commanding courtesy, common courtesy. Now I'm going to speak to you as a homeowner like I am. Okay. So number 1, I want you to start commanding, have the attitude of common courtesy. So we're going to groom our home service pros before they get here. Now, if the home service pro is going to be late, does he call you and let you know what is going on ahead of time? Hey, I had a flat tire. I went ahead and fixed it. I'm on the way now. I know I'm an hour late. Okay. He or she should have called when they discovered the issue. Hey, I pulled up on here in Atlanta, I-25. I didn't know they have free parking today. Okay. I didn't get the notification. I thought I was going to get on the freeway, get to your house faster. Looks like I'm stuck. What would you like for me to do? That's the correct response. And that's the correct way that every home service pro should treat you, out of common courtesy as a homeowner. Okay. All right. So let's go from here. Let me see. Here we are. If he, and again, this is not gender specific, but if he or she says he will be there at 3 p.m. and you've taken off early to work, okay? If you've taken off early from work to meet with the appointment and he's late and does not call, you may just have a bigger problem later on during the project. And then finally, you must know if this home service pro is personally accountable to you early on. Now, there is a way to handle this, and if they show you this up front, you have a choice. You can either say, hey, I appreciate you being here today. I know life gets in the way and things happen. I don't want to complicate our relationship, but you have expectations of perhaps getting the job, and I have expectations of you doing that job. And in addition, in the future, if you are late, then I would like an immediate phone call as at discovery. You have a flat tire, you're late, your child is sick, needs to come home, whatever that is. Would you be willing to show me common courtesy as I will with you? You ask them that. Will you be willing to? And get that response. Oh, yes, ma'am. I am so sorry. It won't happen again. If life gets in the way, I will call you and let you know. And then you can just go from what we call your gut feeling. All right. If any response is different from that, if they can keep continuing on like, oh, this is not going on, blah, 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 then you might want to rethink working with that specific home service pro. Now, let me ask you a question. Is your time and inconvenience important enough to him for him to call you? Is it? And that's what he needs, or he or she needs to know. Okay. The definition for, let me see, if you will, Emma or Natalie, go ahead and mute your speaker, please. All right. If you are let me go back to this. The definition for patience. No, it's not. For timeliness. Okay, there's the word. The definition for timeliness is respecting others people's time over yours. Okay, the definition for timeliness, showing up on time, is having a regard of other people's time over yours. Let's move forward. Yes, schedules and challenges and things get moved around a lot. However, being late is not respectful, and especially without a phone call. If you find yourself waiting for over 30 minutes after the agreed time of the appointment, check your cell's caller ID and text messages. Maybe they've been trying to reach you and just haven't been able to. You'll want to respond to them as quickly as possible. And then ask them upon arrival, should they show up, if they try to call you or tell you that they are running late. Note their answer. Listen to what they say. Do they offer an apology up front? Common courtesy is always unspoken and expected. All right. Number two, never accept verbal agreements. All right. Now, let me tell you, early on in my career, when I was just starting out, I went to a man's house. He was a paraplegic and he was in a wheelchair. And so he yelled from the living room, screen door, and he said, hey, come on in. So I was like, oh, this is unusual. Nobody came here to greet me. So I said, hey, this is Rick. Where are you? And he said, I'm in the living room. Came in there. He said, I saw a situation. And I said, so what would you like for me to do? Where's this bedroom you want me to paint? He says, go down the hallway to the left and look everything over. Give me an estimate. So I came back after reviewing everything, and I'm looking at the walls and stuff in the room. And I said, okay, I'll do it for this amount of money. Okay. And he said, fine, get started. When can you start? I said, right now. I came ready to work. He says, okay, go. So I went in there and painted the bedroom. And I finished. Before I cleaned up, I asked him if he was able to come to the bedroom with his, in his wheelchair and inspect my work before I cleaned up. That way, if he sees anything, then he could just go ahead and do what he needs to do. So he came into the room and he looked around. He says, okay, so when you're going to finish? And I said, I did. He goes, no. When I say paint the bedroom, I mean the ceiling, the walls, the trim, the doors, the window trim as well, including both sides of the door, both sides of the bathroom, master bathroom door, and the closet door. Well, I didn't understand that going on. He knew what he meant in his head. I didn't write things down specifically as I would have, which just says basically paint walls only, no ceiling, trim, baseboard, doors. Okay. And give him that price. He said, no, I said to paint the bedroom. And he was right. I agreed and he agreed verbally. And because I'm a man of integrity, I went back and painted literally the entire bedroom, everything, and then had him come back and inspect it. Okay. So I lost money per hour. I lost on that, but I gained a huge insight. Okay. What I gained was that I will never give a verbal agreement ever again. From that point on, everything is in writing and it's line item and it's very specific as far as the materials, what I'm going to do, the time expectation, okay, and when I plan to get paid, and then have the homeowner initial beside each line. Yeah, it got crazy, but they understood and they agreed, and I showed that they agreed, and we both agreed in writing. Now, guys, I train. I'm also a handyman business coach. I train hundreds of handyman business owners. I have trained hundreds, and I work with my own crew. We never, ever, ever do any verbal contract. Everything is very specific, and it is reviewed by one of the managers before its final approval. Okay. If they're there, it gets approved. It's shot over to the sales manager. Sales manager looks at everything and gives his okay as well. And then they proceed. Okay. What happens? What happens if you do verbal agreements with anybody and it's not in writing and there's a conflict? Okay. And you have to take that person to court, or they take you to court. The judge is going to say, okay, show me your paperwork. And both of y'all are going to stand there like, we don't have any. And he's going to look at you, or he or she's going to look at you and say, how do you expect me to make my job easy? You've just now complicated. Now I got it. He said, she said. This is going to be very, very, very difficult to do. So make it easy on yourself and make sure that you never do verbal agreements. Never take on a project without nothing, or with nothing in writing. If something were to go wrong, and like I said earlier, it wouldn't hold much weight in court. And if things break down and the burden of proof was not agreed upon, or it is agreed upon, it's upon the judge. Okay. But if you've got everything in writing, then it's pretty cut and dry. Verbal agreements will be too difficult to prove or disapprove. Always get everything in writing, what the home service pro will and won't do, and what the home service pro can expect from you. Be sure to look at the fine print, okay? And anything on the back of the estimate or the contract. A good contract will protect all parties. Make sure you read that fine print. Never pay for services or materials. That's secret number 3. And you never pay for anything in advance. All right. So it is a customary in many trades to get at least 50% down payment for services or materials in advance. And this has been a normal and accepted business practice for years. For whatever reason, there have always been conflicts with both parties who have a legitimate argument. So let's talk about this real quick. Excuse me. All right, let me tell you a story. Here recently, in my own town that I live in, west of Atlanta, I was invited personally. They only wanted to work with me, not any of my men. Okay. All right. Excuse me. I had to take care of a dog that was not behaving. So this lady of the house, she called me and said, Rick, I know you from church. I only want to work with you. Are you willing? Yes, I'll go. So I went there to her house, and she very first words was, can you finish what this other guy started? And I said, what happened to the other guy? Said, well, he came in. It's a 7-day job, he said. He came in and he says, okay, I need 50% upfront of our agreed price, verbal agreement, and for materials. So she said, okay, well, that's fine. And she understood it was common practice as well. So she wrote out a check in his name. And he never showed back up. What he did was he took that check, cashed it, and just disappeared. Changed his phone number, changed everything about him. Okay. She couldn't get a hold of him. And here she was, still needing the project done. She lost 50% of her agreed hundreds of dollars. And now she's having to start back over and still having to hire someone else. So he never came back. So let's talk about some of those issues. Homeowners are reluctant to give any funds and advancements towards labor that has not been performed for fear that the home service pro may skip with the money and not do the contracted work. Now, home service pros, there's 2 parts of this. Home service pros want to lock in the job with the contract and a small non-refundable down payment, usually about 50%, to ensure the intent and the security or sincerity, of the home owner. So we got 2 opposing parties trying to get together in an agreement to fulfill a contract. So this can be resolved easily. If the homeowner has done all the necessary background and investigation on the home service pro, as mentioned earlier, then all of this can be a compromise in the payment of the down payment. The homeowner can agree to pay 1/2 of the down payment immediately and the second half of the first day of work. Okay. Now this is usually what happens if it is a 2-day event. The agreement will ensure that the homeowner will get at least 1 day of work done at their home. So in other words, let's say that Ms. Smith contracts my company or contracts me, and I will say, it's a 7-day project. I would like to make this into a line item payment. Okay. When I tear out your bathroom, and I'm going to upgrade your bathroom completely, when I tear things out, then at the end of that day, you'll pay me 1/3. Okay. And then when I tile the bathroom, the shower and everything, the walls and the floor, then and that's complete, you'll pay me that number 2. And then once we get all the fixtures back in, everything set up, on final payment, you'll pay me that 3rd. Okay. So in that agreement, I only get paid after I've done the work. Now, let's talk about a couple of things. Advancements should only be paid daily after, that's the operative word, after the day's work is completed, even if the work is done in stages. If the home service pro is paid in advance, oftentimes the home service pro's motivation to get the work completed in a timely manner diminishes significantly. So let's talk about this here real quickly, and let's see if I have it. No, I don't. So let's do a real simple thing for you in when the subject comes up to pay 50% or pay some monies for materials. I don't want you to do that. Don't do it. Okay. What you want to do. Now, there are some ways, or some instances that will come up, but let me give you just the ordinary thing. Okay. Anybody coming up, plumbers, electricians, handymen, carpenters, anybody like that who need materials. Okay. What you do is just say, look, go to your store, wherever you shop, go ahead and pick out all the items. And let's say they go to Home Depot. Okay. They go to Home Depot, get everything that you need, put it in your cart, bring it up to the home or to the pro's desk. There you go. Bring it to the pro's desk and let the clerk ring everything up and tell them this is a sales call. I want to do a sales call with my customer. And they understand what that is. If they don't understand, that pro will know, because he's done it. He or she's done it several times. So the clerk then gets your phone number. He rings everything up and then gives you a call and say, hey, Miss Smith, this is John at Home Depot. I've got Rick here, and he's got some materials for your project today. The final is $427. How would you like to pay for that? Or what card would you like to pay for? So you could use your Home Depot card, your credit card, or your debit card. Now, what that does, it relieves the pressure off of you and the home service pro. You're not giving cash, you're not giving a credit card, and you're not giving a check. You should never, ever give anyone any of those 3 things. I don't care if you know them. You shouldn't do it. Never give anybody cash. Never give anybody a check, especially in their name. Okay. And don't give them a credit card. Don't say, oh, well, here's my credit card. Just go ahead and use it. No. Most of your stores here in the United States, True Value, Ace Hardware, Lowe's, the big box stores, I think there's a place called Maynard's. Okay. You understand, Home Depot, those big box stores, they get it. They understand if you send them to the pro's desk. Okay. These pros know what to do. All right. So that's what you want to do. So that keeps everybody, on the up and up. Okay. So the home service pro then receives a receipt and the materials. They bring the receipt and the materials to you. You also ask the clerk while you have them on the phone, I would like for you to email me the receipt. So now you've got an emailed copy. When the home service pro comes, they bring the materials, you do inventory check, and you also check against their hard copy. Okay, now why do I say that? Well, I had an incident probably about 15 years ago where a dishonest person that I hired I didn't know because we vet everybody, but he decided to do something different. And he took copies home with him of the receipts, changed the numbers digitally and kept the materials, parts on materials, or whatever he bought in part of the cash. Okay. And that person is still wearing orange today, orange jumpsuit, if you understand that. Okay. Because we don't mess around. We don't do that at all. So he went straight to jail without collecting gold, without collecting the $200, okay, on Monopoly. All right. So we just don't play that way. We are very, very honest about what we do with ours, and we expect you to expect that of them. Be people of integrity, okay, all the way around. All right. In conclusion, as in any industry, anyone can be a success or an utter failure at customer service. Not all home service pros are unprofessional, dishonest, or even disrespectful. Some are very skilled and professional home service pros, may not be as polished as others, but do have a good business sense about them. So these home service pros are usually the busiest home service pros because they have a good reputation to uphold and guard it by treating you with care and respect. And by the way, you never really know who you are doing business with, even when a well-spoken home service pro comes to your home to win your business. So I want you to do your homework. Be wise. Take the necessary precautions in knowing who you are inviting into your home before they arrive. Most importantly, remember, by avoiding just these three mistakes from the 10 common mistakes homeowners make when hiring home service pros, you are way ahead of the game and always in control. So let me ask you a question here. You see time and you see a money sign, a dollar sign at the very top. What kind of value would you put on personally knowing how to vet home service pros prior to hiring using specific questions? What kind of value would you put on knowing what to look for in the terms and conditions of the contract? Or how about how to set up a payment for materials without handing over your cash, your check, or your credit card? What would that be worth to you? And especially how to set milestones for payment schedules. Can you put a value on that? Put that in the chat. Tell me what kind of value would that be? All right. I can already tell somebody's already said priceless. And you're right. It would be priceless. So I want to introduce to you the 10 common mistakes homeowners make when hiring home service pros online training course. So with this program, you get the online video training course with easy to follow modules, a complete workbook with actionable proven systems, and you can start hiring the same day. So here you see that it's an easy to follow proven step-by-step system, how to hire home service pros prior to hiring using specific questions, how to agree on terms and conditions of the contract and what to look for, and how to set up payments for materials without handing over your cash, your check, or your credit card, and then how to set up milestones for payments in the future. Regularly, guys, I sell this for $187. That's not going to happen today. I do have this on sale for this specific event and only for $97. So you get the course itself. You also get the workbook, and this is yours forever to keep. Simply go to, and I'm having to move some stuff around here. Simply go to TheHandymanToolbox.com/10-mistakes-course. You see it here at the very bottom. Go ahead and get that now. Sign up. We are hosting, matter of fact, we're launching this program November the 1st, which is this coming Monday. So we want you to be a part of this event. I'm going to be doing it live the very first time. And then, of course, it will be recorded so you can review it and come back to it over and over again. All right. So one final thing here I want to share with you. There's a saying by Angela Mayo that I just absolutely, or sorry, Maya Angelou, that I absolutely love. It said, I did what I did because that's all I knew to do. But because now I know better, I do better. And that's my wish for you. I want you to know better. I don't want you to get scammed, ripped off by anybody, and especially home service pros. It can happen. The old thing, Murphy, I say, I do. You heard of Murphy's Law? If it can go wrong, it will. Oh, I do O'Hara's Law, which O'Hara says that Murphy was an optimist. Okay, so make sure that you sign on today. Go ahead and register now. And this is at the link below. I'll also put this in the comments down below. I would love for you to share your specific questions, your comments. If you have anything you want to share about what my presentation was about today, I would love to chat with you and even do a one-on-one. And just thank you for being here. It's such an honor to be able to share these secrets that I've had in my own business for over 23 years. And I'm just happy and honored to do that as well. By the way, before you go, I want to encourage you to check out my other videos, and you'll see a link below. Click on it. The 1,000th person that subscribes to TheHandymanToolbox.com gets a free tool. Go ahead and register now. See you there.